What we do here is go back.
No matter where you are in the city of Pittsburgh, you are steps away from experiencing a work of art. Public art is a distinguishing part of our home. It is freely accessible and enables people to experience art in their daily life outside of museums or other cultural institutions. It reflects our history and our evolving culture. It helps to give our communities a stronger sense of identity and place. Public art matters, and public art matters to the city of Pittsburgh. Thanks for watching Pittsburgh Public Art. Today, Morton Brown, the city's public art manager, and I are speaking about a memorial located in Mellon Park called the Seamans Memorial Garden. Morton, can you tell us a bit about this memorial?
Yes, I can. It's an artwork actually by Janet Zweig, a really well-known, nationally known artist out of New York City. I would love to recite the actual title for you, but I can't because it's a series of longitude and latitude numbers that I can't pronounce very well in an impromptu fashion. But it has that title because when the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy, who is a partner of the city, they are our steward for the regional parks in the city. They help the city raise private dollars and manage restorations and new commissions of art and monuments and parks in total for the city. And this was no exception. The Mellon Park Walled Garden, which is located in the historic portion of Mellon Park, which is on the side of the street with the Scaife building of the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts. So the yellow building at Shady and Fifth that you're all probably familiar with, that's where this is. The Walled Garden was a historic piece from the 30s. So while the Parks Conservancy was restoring the wall, through community dialogue, they discovered that there was a request and a sentiment to do a memorial to a local person, Katharine Seamans, who passed away at a very young age. And this just happened to be one of her favorite spots in Pittsburgh. She would spend a lot of time there reading or hanging out looking at the night sky, etc. So the Parks Conservancy thought this was important to the community. They went about raising funds for this addition to the restoration project. Artist selection, the whole nine. They worked with, our nonprofit partner, the Office of Public Art, to do a national selection for artists, and Janet Zweig was chosen. So the piece is quite amazing. You have to go there at night. There is a daytime presence to the piece, and certainly the Walled Garden is best enjoyed in the daytime. But nighttime it's really special because the artist, in dialogue with the community and the parents of Katharine Seamans, decided to make the artwork about the constellation pattern from that point in space and that point on the Earth from Katharine's birthday. So the constellation pattern is actually illustrated or manifest into the lawn through fiber optic cable. So there are little stars in the lawn that have granite collars with the star name and the explanation of the star name for each of those constellation patterns. So when you go there at night, it's just like a field of stars on the lawn, and it's beautiful because, again, the choice of the title and the subtle nature to which the piece exists. You don't read it as a memorial. You don't need to know the whole story to enjoy it, but investigating through the signage that's there on site and knowing the full story gives it a deeper meaning. So it's just very, very beautiful and really well done.
Sounds like a very powerful memorial. Let's go meet with the parents of Katharine Seamans to learn more about why they wanted this memorial created. Well, thank you very much for joining us here at this very unique memorial. Can you tell us about the story of this installation and your involvement in it?
It's been about 15 years since this journey began, and we were looking for a suitable way to memorialize our daughter, and we thought of a number of different things, but with the encouragement of a friend of ours who is a landscape architect, Fred Bonsi, we started looking at this particular space. There had just been a lot of work done to kind of evaluate the history of this particular park. And there was a kind of a historic plan that had been created, and he felt that this could work out very, very well. We then got together with the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy and developed this plan with acknowledgement of the history of the space. And I think it was Fred Bonsi who suggested that public art might have a role to play in the restoration and the conservation of the space. So he suggested that we get in touch with Renee Paichaki, and she really shepherded the process of selecting the artist, and that's a whole story right there.
And Renee works with the Office of Public Art?
She's right. I think she's the director, if I'm not mistaken, the Office of Public Art. And so, you know, our budget was somewhat limited, and we decided to, well, it was her idea to have a request for qualifications, because our budget was the kind of budget that would normally be dedicated just for the request for proposals. So people came and showed, so people submitted it. She put it out there somewhere where these things are posted in the virtual world, and got about 100 responses. And based on that, I think about half a dozen were selected. There was a committee that was formed. I was on the committee. My wife Elizabeth was on the committee. There were other people too. I think that probably there were 10 people on the committee. Diane Samuels, trying to think who else. Jane Werner, perhaps. It's a while ago. Anyway, so there was a selection. Then people came to Pittsburgh to present their, not so much what they would do here, but to present their past works of what they had done in public art. It was a big education for me. I thought that, well, you want someone to make benches, or you want, you know, something to embellish in some practical way what's going on. But I was encouraged by Renee and others to think more out of the box, and to choose an artist based on their willingness to jump in and really try something new, which is how Janet Zweig ended up getting chosen, because none of her previous work is the kind of work that you see here in the park today. So Janet came for a long weekend after the selection process, and talked to friends of our daughter, talked to people who use this park a lot. It was kind of a whole interview phase that she went through, and she came up with this idea of the lights in the ground. And it's a very, I think a very powerful idea, because it embodies a lot of different things. And you know, there's sort of the private memorial aspect to it, which is that these, well, my daughter used to come up here and hang out with her friends, and, you know, during the day, during the night. There's a poem that she loved by Anne Sexton, which is, there's a quote in there, up in the ground there, about lying, and it's called Young by Anne Sexton. But then there's a very public aspect to it too. That began a whole process of, how is this actually going to work? How can you put lights in the ground? You know, the ground where the ground freezes and thaws, and people run all over it, and it's not embedded in concrete. It's, you know, it's in the lawn, and that's, the Conservancy was really great about figuring out how to do it. And there was a terrific lighting consultant named Hal Hilbish who got very involved, very enthusiastically, trying different things. There were times of testing things in the dark to see if they'd actually work. And Phil Grushka at the Parks Conservancy figured out how to put all this fiber optic cable underground make it waterproof and resilient.
It's a really interesting story. Can you tell us a bit more about Anne? I've heard that she was a dancer and a sculptor.
I would describe her as a leader. She was not afraid to jump in and really take charge of things, and she was very interested in filmmaking, dance. She was a very good writer, and she was 19 years old, so who knows what she would be doing today. I mean, that's another. It's been a very positive thing for me, and I think I can speak for my wife Elizabeth too, to have gotten involved in helping to recreate, or whatever you would say. Space was already here, obviously, but to reimagine what it could be. And it feels really good, I think, for both of us to be involved. It's still an ongoing process, but it feels just very good to be involved in doing this. And I think it's a way to remember her and without, how would I say it? Without being enveloped in sadness.
Well, thank you very much for telling the story of this powerful and beautiful memorial. I think that it's going to be very inspiring for many artists here, and I'm sure that Anne would have loved this memorial too. Well, thank you for watching Pittsburgh Public Art. If you'd like to learn more about public art in the city, you can visit pittsburghpa.gov. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Pittsburgh Public Art.